This week, creativity isn't just on the stage. It's shaping courts, raising millions, and putting Puerto Rico on the spotlight. From the NEA court ruling to Broadway's flea market and Bad Bunny's residency, expression made headlines. I'm Isaiah Rodriguez, and this is the Drama Department. So the National Endowment of the Arts is our federal department that basically secures all of the government funding for all art productions, projects, programs throughout our entire country. And recently the state of Rhode Island has applied for their grant funding for the year of 2025, and they've been denied, stating that their productions are indecent and they're promoting gender ideology and DEI. And so they've appealed for that in court, and the court has ruled in their favor, stating that you can't deny them their rightfully owed money that they've been given years prior because you don't agree with what they're putting on. And so this has allowed the freedom of speech to reign true, as we've all been hoping for. But this also hasn't been the first time this has happened. We've seen this happen in the 90s as well, where an artist took a picture of the crucifixion. It was a photography piece, and part of his grant money was used to alter that, and it was a very distasteful use of bodily fluids within the imagery. And it went to court stating, hey, we don't like this that you're using our government money for. And back then, the court actually appealed in favor of the distasteful image, stating, okay, this is wrong, but we'll allow limitations. So if you can find a loophole and work it out, you can work it out. It wasn't found, and they actually had to scrap the project. And now we're seeing the court actually stand in favor of the supporters. We're seeing them stand in favor of the theater companies, saying that, hey, listen, you want to put this production on, we'll stand by you, which is actually really nice. We are very happy to see this level of support finally being given. But it does also make us wonder, should taxpayer money be used to fund offensive productions? I mean, where do we weigh the line on what's offensive and what's not? I mean, yes, if you're including bodily images and bodily fluids, that's very distasteful. But do we include everything that's distasteful? Do we include some things that are distasteful? Do we stick with the limitations? So I want to talk a little bit about Bad Bunny. I know it's a little bit different than what I talk about on here, but I think his residency that he just did in Puerto Rico sparks enough theatrical viewpoints for me to cover it. So he had a residency titled No Me Quiero Ir de Aquí, which means I don't want to leave here, at the Jose Miguel Coliseum in San Juan. He was there for about 2 months, and he did a total of 31 shows. Over 600,000 people showed up. They estimated for 400,000 tickets to be sold just in hours that they announced ticket sales were live. The first 9 shows of the 31 show run were Puerto Rican resident exclusive. They were checking residency proof at the door for the first 9 concerts. After which they anticipated over $200 million in revenue from it, and they earned over $377 million in payment revenue. They early shows that impacted $165 million, with the remaining to project over $214 million more. The hotel industry blew up all over Puerto Rico, with over 50,000 reservations booked in the first month alone for them to come out there and go see him. Local restaurants and bars, transportation boost in all of its revenue. Tourism spiked during their horrible hurricane season that they experience every summer. And the major media coverage of it boosted the overall tourism aspect of the island totally. With his exclusivity in not touring in America, making people fly to Puerto Rico, to all of the celebrities he brought on stage and that were seen in the audience in the VIP sections of his show. On the last night of his production, it was on the 8th year anniversary of Hurricane Maria. And that alone sponsored a partnership deal with him and Amazon Music, funding education relief, hurricane relief, and overall cultural development for the island itself. We see a cultural significance for Bad Bunny being in his home country, putting on a production like this for his home people. The way he has taken what it means to be Puerto Rican and has given it this modern flow, and he's bridged a gap between generations, from people who have lived in New York and come from a Nueva York experience, to people who travel back and forth between America and the island as often as they do, and to people who have never left and just live on the island and stay there. It encompasses what it means to be not just Puerto Rican, but Caribbean. They have all different types of celebrities that came: Venezuelan artists, Puerto Rican artists, Dominican artists. He had politicians that were there. He brought athletes that came out and supported it and hung out with him. They reconstructed one of his stages that he performed on to look like a social club that's been in Puerto Rico for over 50 years. And the original owner of the social club was spotted in the VIP section of this concert. So to see this level of flavor be so meticulously planned down to the detail of where I'm from, who I am, what it means to be from this place, and you take apart the cultural originality of the island. He encompasses what it means to live in the countryside, to wake up on these beaches, to have this cultural food fed to you. And they're calling it a love letter to the island, the way he's depicted it. It's in celebration of his sixth studio album he's created. And it's since launched a national tour. He's starting off in the Dominican Republic, and he'll be ending in Belgium of next year. And he doesn't even want to talk about touring in the U.S. due to all of the insurrection with immigration and the mass deportations that's been going on. He doesn't even feel like it's a safe thing for him to even play around with the idea of touring in his states. That's not what his concerts are for, he's said. And overall, I think it's beautiful to see this type of art be transformed not only from the theatrical aspect, but from the cultural aspect. In such a sensitive time, we haven't lost what it means to be from your home. So Broadway just held what they call the Broadway Flea Market and Giant Auction. And what it is over like 100 Broadway productions and industry employees come together, and they basically hold a giant vintage tag sale for all things Broadway memorabilia, from costumes to set props, character props. There are artists that even come out to do playbill signatures and photo ops, and they've recently broken the record with the amount of money they've earned by meeting the goal of $1.63 million in revenue and in auction sales. And that's a feat alone, to say the least. But we also see that that's a very huge gap from this year to the last couple of years, even coming out of the pandemic. And so what we've seen is that actually comes from a large gathering of social media users, and that Broadway has been reached now through TikTok. Broadway has been reached through Instagram, more on YouTube now, where they're upping their quality of content, they're upping their quantity of content, and they seem to be marketing towards a much younger audience, giving a revitalized and new feeling to the theater experience, to the content experience, the creational side of it, the artistic side of it all. And it's just blowing up all over the place, and it's beautiful to see this new form of theater taking on a light in the new generation, seeing it be loved in a new way, and it's just a wonderful take. If you liked what we talked about here today, check out our other videos. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and send this to your most dramatic friend. You know the one.